host Ramona Singh, and it's always so great to be here with you on Channel Y and Y Media, as this is a brand new show called Food for Thought, where we talk about things that matter to you, matters to the heart, and some conversations that are perhaps thought-provoking. And today we're going to talk about work-life balance. Joining me in studio is Jadoo. He is the group editor of Y Media. Hello, and how are you?
I'm doing great, Ramona ji. I hope our viewers are doing great as well. And I hope once again on this morning, we're going to discuss a very important topic today, food for thought.
Food for thought, yes. And work-life balance, I think, you run a massive company, and I don't think, sometimes I say, do you realize it's newspaper, it's print, in terms of newspaper, you got radio, you have a 24/7, TV channel, then you have to update what's online, the news portal, and then you have the mobile app, and then now an English channel. That's a lot of platforms. Right now I just listed 6 platforms, and then on top of that, you want to make sure social media is on top of it, and you do 4 hours daily radio show that's on TV, that's 4 hours, 5 days a week, and then you do these shows, and then you have the corporate stuff, then you're running a company, you have people to manage, you have colleagues. There's so much on your plate, and I don't want to stress you out because I just listed all these different things, but how do you manage work-life balance? Or maybe perhaps tell us what it means to you before we get into how you manage it.
Yeah, I think work-life balance, as I was discussing earlier as well, as if these are two separate things. These are not two separate things. Work-life, because work is part of life. So I think even before we dwell into this, what is work-life balance, I think we need to ask ourselves, there should be a clarity of thought, what makes us happy. Why I'm saying this? Because work-life balance will only be right if you know what makes you happy, because work is very important, a very integral part of your life, and life itself, you should know what makes you happy. So I think first of all, we should note it down. Say for instance, if you ask, everyone should ask yourself, you should ask yourself, I'm going to ask you, list down 5, 10, 20, 30 points that these are the things you want in your life. Create a short-term plan, create a mid-term plan, and create a long-term plan. I'll talk about work-life balance. What will happen is that once you start jotting them down, please note them down, because it's very difficult for you to memorize all of them. So what is important for you in life? What will make you happy in a long term? Say for instance, your age is 16 right now, your age is 20 right now, 25, 30, 40, 50. At any given time, you must know these are my priorities. This will help me in really balancing my life. If your life is balanced, your work life will also be balanced. So actually, you have to balance your life. I asked these questions to me very early on. So you should ask yourself, what will make you happy in a longer term? Today you could be 20, 30, 40 or 50. In long term, what will make you happy? Will money make you happy? Okay, write it down. I need money in my life. How much money you need? Things will keep on changing with your priorities. How much money do you need? If you are 20, if you're 30, 40, 50, imagine if you live 80, 90 years of age, how much money do you need for that? Consider your annual expenses. Okay, this is the amount of money I need in my life. Try doing this exercise. Second, do I want to get married? Yes or no? Clarity of mind is very important. Work-life balance will only come if you know all these things about your life, because all these things will affect your work-life balance. Do you want to get married? Yes or no? Okay. Do you want to have kids? Yes or no? How many kids do you want to have? If at all you want to have. How many kids you want to have? What is the age that you want to get married? Then how much time do you want to spend with your family? Is your family a priority? If yes, how much time would you want to spend with your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your spouse? How much time do you want to spend with them? So all these things are important, and then there are other aspects of life, because when you're balancing work and life, how much time do you want to spend on your health? Did you ask yourself this question this morning? That how much time did you spend on your health? How much time did you meditate? How's your spiritual health doing? Is that a priority or not? I mean, you could be happy, but maybe you haven't started your spiritual journey. Maybe at one point at the age of 60 or 70, you realize what is the purpose of life, and maybe that time you are not able to do that. Here again, once again, you're off balance. And before I go any further, I'll give you that if at all we do not know all these 2, 4, 5, 8, 10 points, this is what we need in our life. Doesn't matter. At the age of 16, 17, 20, there are many people who are winning gold medals. So you're old enough. Don't think, okay, I'm 16 or 17. Yeah, you need to plan that right now. Because as we move further, I'll tell you, I learned the hard way a few things. Because if you're not balancing your life, at one point, it's going to hit you really hard. It is going to hit you really hard. This is the most important question you could ask today to yourself. We go shopping and we plan, okay, I want to buy a white color thing or a black color thing, and we could easily switch with our clothes. But here you are at the age of 30, 40, 50, 60, you could realize, oh gosh, I didn't want to get married. You're now living with 6 kids, and at 60, I don't want to get married. This is the time you're realizing, because you didn't plan your life. It isn't a balanced life. So work life is very important, but you need to ask these questions. If I may ask you, if you had to jot down that these are the 2, 4, 5, 6 or 8 things important for you, and how would you want to balance your life and work?
It's such a great perspective you just shared, because I think for quite some time when we think about work-life balance, we think about on a day-to-day or maybe a week-to-week aspect of like, I'm working and these are the hours I work, then I should be able to have downtime and family time and friends time and time for health and other leisurely activities or things that I enjoy, whether it's sports or anything competitive or things I want to learn or education. But the way you've put it is fantastic, because you're looking at it, yes, what's the long-term plan, then the short-term plan, and then you can go down to what do you need to do daily to a weekly basis of how do your weeks look like. And I think because you're such a scheduled person, like I think all your hours are accountable for in a week, and that's why you're able to accomplish the stuff you are, and still you have a high level of energy to do it. Because what you're doing is you're doing creative work at the same time as managing a business and people and expectations, but also there's a lot of creativity that goes into creating content, right? And then there's a lot of research and there's a lot of stuff. So thank you for sharing that, because as I'm listening to, I've actually learned a few things right now, that it's about asking those questions and then backtracking into, okay, well now how do I implement it to my daily schedule, to my weekly schedule? Yeah. And for me, it's very important to spend time with family, because I think the older I get, the more I realize, like, you don't know how long you have. Is it the end of today? Is it tomorrow? Is it a few years from now that you have with your family members? And those are things that you don't want to regret. And I think a theory I learned from Jeff Bezos, reading some of his stuff, and he talks about regret minimization theory, and it's this theory that he applies to his life and his business. And what it is that make decisions today where you minimize the number of regrets you have in the future, right? And I think perhaps thinking about life as in, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? What is it when it comes to your health, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your personal life? If you don't have those decisions or your mind made up, and it's okay to change. And here's the other thing. It's one thing to have a decision today, and it's okay to change your mind, but it's good to, you're always going to have a plan that way. My plan today may adjust because I need to be flexible in life. I don't control the universe and the sun and the moon and the stars and the weather and other people, right? This is life. But I need to have my goals, but I need to also be flexible for what is perhaps God's plan for me, what may happen around, or maybe my perception changes, or maybe, I have a moment of profound inspiration where I may, change my ideas about certain stuff. And flexibility is very good, but at least you have a plan from now and then later, and when those junctures occur. So thank you for sharing that. Yeah,
no, thank you. Welcome. And actually, you're right. I mean, flexibility is the key in life. Yeah. I think that's a whole different topic. We can talk about that anytime. If you're not flexible enough, you're not rigid. Ego kills many relationships. Rigidity kills many relationships. You're not flexible. That's a different topic. And then, but coming back onto the balance in life and work balance, as we're discussing. If you go to a fitness instructor, they're going to ask you, what do you want? You need to make up your mind before you get the right balance of fitness. They could ask you, okay, fine, are you looking to grow really big? Or there are other people who say, no, I don't want to go big at all because I want to manage this bulky body. Just a few lean muscles here and there, a bit of a cardio. I should be fit enough to maybe play some sports. That's about it. And good energy, good food. That's my fitness thing. And I'm not putting on too much weight. That's a fitness level I require. So maybe you could tweak it around here and there while you're, after a few months, you could say, no, a little bit more muscle hair on the biceps would be good. That's fine, right? But at least you got to have a plan. So similarly, you have to have a plan for your life at whatever age you are right now, and then keep working on those ones. You spoke about family, and I've shared this earlier as well. While I was busy in Canada starting a career as an engineer, and then I moved on to media, at that age, we always take our loved ones for granted, as if they're going to live forever, and we're going to live forever. One fine day, I was doing my stuff and everything was fine. It was a good day, but it turned out to be one of the worst days for me. I got a call. My dad met with an accident. I said, Dad, my dad met with an accident? Yeah. And then eventually he passed away. It was a complete shocker for me. I couldn't believe that, because we always take our loved ones for granted. So I made it a point that day that yes, family is very important, and the time that is limited for everyone. There is a limited time. It could be 5 years you're going to spend with someone, husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, father, son, daughter, mother, whoever it is, your friends also. There is a fixed amount. It's not infinite. It's a fixed time. So I said, okay, fine. Then we need to prioritize. We need to definitely prioritize, if at all you want to spend time with your family, because you can only regret, as you just mentioned later on. You need to prioritize how much time are you going to spend with your friends. Yes, that layer time is very important. Here, this is the time you're going to spend with your friends. This is the time you're going to give to your family. This is the time you're going to give to your work, talking about work-life balance. This is the time you're going to meditate. This is the time you're going to do other stuff. So I think you need to prioritize each and every aspect of your life even before you finalize. And as you were mentioning earlier, say for instance, if someone decides, okay, I'm not going to get married, fine. I mean, this could be their plan right now. Okay, if you're not going to get married, then of course there is a fair chance you're not going to have kids as well. So whatever time you were about to spend with your spouse and your kids, that time you can now plan it otherwise. But in case you plan to get married and you plan to have kids, make sure you, in your work-life balance, you are going to have to spend a lot of time with your spouse. You have to spend a lot of time with your kids, because once you get married, yes, you may or may not get out of the relationship, but kids, they're going to stay there forever. So you have to take out time for them as well. So when you talk about work-life balance, marriage, kids, grandparents, friends, family members, and your spouse, and of course, what is your own time? Are you taking out time for yourselves? All these things are very important. What's your take on this?
You're absolutely right, because it's a family. You're right. It's multi-level in terms of how many people you have in your life, and also yourself.
Yeah.
Because the process, you can't lose yourself because you're so busy attending to your work or your family. At the end of the day, you need to have that personal downtime for yourself. And as you're talking actually right now, and the leisure time that you need to have to take away from work, it reminded me of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who served as the United States a Supreme Court justice for during a very long time, and she was actually at the onset of making sure that there's women's rights and all the decisions and judgments that she had put forward, and they call her the notorious RBG. And I remember reading her story, and she says that when she was going to law school, she became pregnant, and she went to her family, her dad and her in-laws, and said, okay, I'm pregnant, maybe I should put off law school until, and back then, she was born in in the 1930s. And so we're talking about a different time for women going to work, and different women having level of a profession like that. And then her parents said to her, well, if you want to find excuses not to go to law school, you'll always find it. But if you want to go, you should be able to go. And so she said that what she would do is she would go to law school, and she goes, while the other students would then get a chance to go to study in the library, I would have to go home and spend some time with my baby, and then put my baby to sleep. And then after my baby would go to sleep, that's when I would sit and study till morning, and then go to school again and go through this repeated cycle. And she goes, it was only in hindsight did I realize that I did so well in school because I took that time away, whereas my other fellow classmates were studying around the clock and spending so much time in one thing and not taking a step back to doing other things, they almost got saturated in the content. And for her, it was an advantage. So here is this woman who has left this legacy, and you know, and like, I'm so proud to even, you know, refer to her. And she says, you know, she was raising a child while she was in law school at the time where there weren't any women in that profession, and even at the level of how far she got.
Wow, that's a nice story.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a very nice story. Since you were talking about layer time and this story, you know, this brings another very important time. Vacation time is not layer time. No.
You're right. Because sometimes you come back tired from vacation because you did too much and it was a different time zone. And you come back and you're like, oh my God, I need a few days to myself. You're right.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that point. Vacation time is not layer time. Layer time, what I consider layer time is, okay, fine. Maybe you've planned it or unplanned time with your friends or anybody else with whom you really enjoy hanging out. Simple. There's nothing on the agenda. There's not like this, okay, I got to book the flight tickets, okay, I got to land this time and time, okay, I want to visit these places, okay, this is done, oh, I missed the train, I missed the plane, or missed this one, you're standing in lines. No. Yes, please do that. That's vacation time. That's the beauty about English language. There are at least 20 different words for one thing, but then you got to pick and choose which one to fit in. So that's why for me, layer time is planned or unplanned time with those people whom you love to hang out. It could be your friends, even your family members, even your co-workers or whoever. It's totally unplanned. There's nothing on the agenda. No, nothing on the agenda. You go there, relax, have a good time, and then one thing, and you don't have to, you know, keep your guard up. Okay, you're enjoying, having a great laugh. Maybe you're catching, oh, you know, 20 years ago we used to do this. 10 years ago, remember we did this? Okay, 10 years. So this is, you're having a great time with the people whom you love. Even it could be two brothers catching up, two sisters catching up, or you're spending time with your friends or co-workers, whoever it is. But it has to be planned or unplanned, but nothing on the agenda. No, nothing on the agenda. Layer time, relax, take it easy. And letting your guard down, you know, discussing. So this layer time, giving layer time is very important too, yeah.
So how do you achieve work-life balance? What can we learn from you, from such a busy person?
Yeah, first things first, you know, I realized that there are few, you know, time suckers and energy suckers as well. So I need to make sure I move them out, 100% I move them out of my schedule. So as I was discussing, so how do I prioritize? Number one, of course, we all have to work. So I said, okay, this is my work time. So I've decided that these are my work hours. Fine. So work hours are finalized, everything is scheduled. Okay, this is one thing. Second, the most important thing for me after my work hours is with my wife, I have to make sure that this is my time with my wife, which includes our physical fitness as well, our badminton time, and then Sundays are exclusively for her, that okay, and then evenings we have our own discussion. Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings we usually wake up late, and even if we wake up early, then we do our own stuff. So family time is important, and then of course after work, family time, and then you have the health also covered, that yes, I got to do this much routine for my stretching, this is how I should be eating, that these are the things I should be eating, and then I should spend this many hours of playtime. So that way all this is said. Then comes my layer time, that yes, I've set my schedule for my layer time. And very interestingly, many people call me on radio and they say, Yudhvir, you're doing these many hours of live show on radio, and just as you asked, then you're managing this entire Y media business as well. Then we've listened, and my average, you know, watching, if I would say how many movies do I watch every week, I would say approximately 2 to 3 movies. I mean, considering a movie 2.5 hours, or I'm watching a web series because I love watching TV. Then I do take out time, a lot of time for watching sports as well. Yes, I have to do that, whether it's cricket, whether it's soccer, or any sport that I like. I will definitely watch lots of sports. So to do all these things, I know these are the things that I love to do. I've jotted them down. So I schedule everything. I know what I'm going to do this week. I know what I'm going to do next week, a month. So all my planning is well in advance. Yes, you're right. There'll always be so many changes because somebody could say, no, I'm busy. So you can work around. But yes, you should know this is my weekly plan, this is my monthly plan, and this is my daily plan. So you need to set all those because everyone has 24 hours, everyone. And I think the most valuable commodity today can anyone buy time with money? Not at all. Even the richest, they can't buy money, also they can't buy time. So I'm making sure that yes, this is the most precious commodity that I have. I make sure that I plan it well in advance. So that's what I precisely do. And time suckers, I don't go to too many events. I don't go to too many parties. I would go there if I know that this is the place where I will enjoy with my friends. My definition of friends is very clear and crystal. I know this is my friends category. Otherwise, I don't have time just to hang around or sit around. I don't drink at all. So I think that has been taking a lot of time out of me at an initial stage of business. But now I don't do that.
You don't
No.
go to events, yeah. Well, that's the other thing. You're right, to be able to go there and the time that you have to spend, because you are busy. You're doing so many different things, and you're scheduling. It's good that you're prioritizing health, and you're also doing it. It's you and your wife doing it together, and therefore you guys are keeping each other accountable to a degree,
Yeah.
and it's also something that you're doing together to bond over.
Yeah. And how do you manage?
How do I manage? So for a very long time, I didn't have a good work-life balance.
Okay.
And I was working a lot, and years go by, and then you don't realize that you haven't prioritized your time with family, with friends, your leisure time, and it was a time period where I didn't really understand time or space. And when I say that, is that I was traveling so much for work as well. Every 10 days, I was traveling to a new country, and it was. And it was so easy for me. I didn't understand, like, if I had to go to a meeting somewhere, it didn't make a difference to me if it was like, a 6-hour flight or an 8-hour flight in a different time zone. I would just get things done. Obviously, I was a lot younger too, and I had the energy and stamina and the drive to do stuff like that. And it was great for a time being, but then I think after a while, I realized that you just spend so much time working, and even though you have got such great experience and exposure in life because of those things, but what happened to the other aspects of your life? And so even now, so what I'll do is in the middle of the day, after I finish doing something that is critical, time sensitive, I will make sure I go outside. Even if it's for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I need to go sit under the sun, because we have such good weather here in Toronto. And so it's important for me that I'm actually at least breathing fresh air. Now I actually prioritize that, because I'm like, you know what? Before I know it, winter's gonna come. And if I'm not actually outside, and I've learned that, because I had a job before where I was in front of a computer for 18 hours a day, 16 hours a day. You don't realize how your time just goes by, going from one screen to another screen, and not realizing that, no, you need to be outside, you need to be in nature, you need to ground yourself. And because of those things, I would have, and I didn't even acknowledge, like, when you work that much, you get anxiety about certain things. And I didn't acknowledge it because on the outside, I was always very calm, or appeared calm, but it was on the inside where I would have like body pain or just certain things. And that was all as a symptom of just not having a proper balance in life.
Yeah, it does happen.
Take time away, yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. You're right, because if you're not taking out time for all those things, then it does affect your mental health, it does affect your body as well. There was a time that I was working for, I was a good 12, 13, 14, 16 hours, or even for that matter, sometimes 18 hours a day. And there was a time for 4 or 5 years, I was working for maybe 6 days, sometimes even 7 days. But that's the time that I started realizing this thing. And I'll again give credit to my wife, Preeti. She asked me this question. She asked this many times, but sometimes it does hit you hard. Are you really living your life? That's the key question. Because one thing that I've learned over a period of time, you must ask, that's why I was saying you must ask yourself, how much money do you need? Because say for instance, at whatever age you are, you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, doesn't matter. Ask yourself today, how much money do I need? If you need $100, and say for instance you end up at the age of 70, 65 or whatever age, you're $90, you're $10 short, that could be an issue, right? So you haven't really prioritized work. There comes work-life balance. Say for instance you need $100 and you're just adding extra zeros in your bank balance. For what? For what? So then you have to answer, I could have spent all that time doing so many other things for priority. I could have spent that time with my wife, with my kids, with my parents, with my grandparents, grandkids for that matter, or with any friends, or could have done so much different. Go ahead.
You're right, and I think that's a misunderstanding because, and I can only speak about like the Western culture. I grew up here, and one of the things is that there's a thought process that I need to accomplish my career, my ideas of success before I get married or before I can do other things. It's always like the mentality of like hustle, hustle hard and no pain, no gain, all of that. And it gets implemented into your mind frame thinking that I need to do this before I do that, not realizing that, no, you could do it holistically, all of it at the same time. There's never going to be a point where you finish one aspect of your life and then you're ready to start another aspect, because then you're too mature in one thing and way too immature in another thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's something that grows together, and that was a level of new understanding that I think we misunderstand because of this culture of like, get there fast and how busy you are, and the ideas of success, not realizing what it really should be.
Yeah, how I take this, in engineering there are 8 semesters, 4 years, and there are 64 exams that we have to clear. So I realized this early on in my first year that I cannot be getting 100 out of 100 in all those 64 subjects. So to finish my engineering in time, in 4 years, and still get reasonably, first class with distinction, 70%. So you have to, the basic thing is first class with distinction means 70% engineering. So I try to figure out that yes, I can't get 100 out of 100, and if 70 has to be the average, these are the marks that you need to get. This is what life is all about. You cannot get 100 out of 100 in every aspect. So what are your priorities? Note them down. This is my financial priorities. This is my priority regarding my health. Okay, this is the time I want to spend at work-life balance. That's what we're talking. This is time I want to spend with my family. This is the time I want to spend with my friends. This is the time I want to spend on my health. This is time I want to spend on my mental health, meditation, all the things. And once all these things are fine, maybe you want to find the purpose of your life. So this is the time, again, the work-life balance, that this is the time I want to spend for something which could be the purpose of my life. What am I giving? What am I sharing? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, when you figure out all these things, then you can start striking a balance. Many of the celebrities, Shah Rukh Khan, what does he say? I've listened to not only Shah Rukh Khan, many other people, they say, I feel like alone at night. We're talking about Shah Rukh Khan here. Mm-hmm. We're talking about Deepika Padukone. I mean, imagine she had all the boxes ticked for her. Great career, great business, everything. At that time, she was seeing Ranbir Kapoor. But here she comes, these people, she went into depression. Shah Rukh Khan starts feeling alone at night. Why? What was the reason is, all the boxes that are ticked, financial issues, no problem. Fame, money, big cars, flashy wristwatches and everything. Fans, not in millions, billions of fans. Then what else do you need? No. When Shah Rukh Khan says, on air, I'm feeling alone. And Deepika says, I got to. The point being, maybe one of the box was really missing. Somewhere around the balance of life, not just the work-life balance, somewhere around one of the box was missed, which is okay. Fine. I could miss maybe, if I had to tick 20 boxes in my life, I could miss 2, 3, 4, or maybe 5, or maybe all 20 of them, which is okay. As long as you start searching, as long as you start asking, what do you need? One of the things that I've realized when you talk about work-life balance, the emotional support. Over all these years, I've tried to build a great emotional support around me. That has really helped me in balancing all this, and that keeps me going, whether at work or outside of the work. So, this is a group, with this group I've been working in India. So these are a bunch of 5 to 6 people, great relationship, last 27 years we've been together. This is my group for the school time, 6 guys, we've been together for good, I would say 30, 35 years now. Okay, great relationship with these guys. Another group, when I came to Canada, in these 20 years, I've created another group, and it's a heart-to-heart connection. And then connection at work, then so many other groups. So what happens is, all these people are connected to you with heart to heart. So with your work and life balance, this is a very important tool that I have realized. And if you ask me, if someone asks you, what is your success? One indicator, one measure of success, just one. I don't want to listen to anything else. Health, money, these are all answers which you say. Great health, okay, that's my measure of success. Money, fame, business, family. I think one indicator, if you ask me, what is the measure of my success? How many people do I love them truly, and how many people respond back? That is my criteria. That is my measure of success. If I've achieved few of that, and again, it's not about them. It's about me doing my part. It's not about them. And you know, most of the cases, love will be reciprocated with love. You would know that. Please.
You're right, absolutely. I'm listening to you. Carry on. Carry on.
No, I want to ask your perspective as well.
In terms of which aspect of how I measure the success?
Yes.
It's so profound to hear you say that it's about, you know, it's about how many people do you love and receive that back, and not necessarily on the receiving side, but how you feel that, and that means those great relationships that you've been able to foster and build. When it comes to work-life balance, one thing I do want to say is some people have the need to please, and so out of obligation they say yes to so many things that they don't actually want to do to be able to take that time back. And you had alluded to that earlier, saying that you got rid of the time wasters, and I think that's one of the biggest things. And it's so hard sometimes to say no to things you just don't want to do. And so for the people who feel obligated and they feel like their time is being taken away because of, you know, the need to please or the need to say yes, then that's something to definitely work on, to be able to get that time back for yourself to do things you need to do. Because you'll never have enough time if you're just, you know, at the whim of other people, at the mercy of other people's request and beck and call.
You're right. You can't be playing to whims and fancies of other people.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. And actually, it's a two-way street. One is this, that yes, you have to make sure, because at the end of the day, you can easily realize this. You can easily realize this. Say, for example, a person is at the job of a deputy commissioner, DC, in a city, or a higher political post, a minister, or maybe even prime minister for that matter. So, are the people around you because of your position? Are the people around you? Some people tell, oh, you know, that guy, he's having a great time in his life, money, this, okay, fine. But is his life really balanced? These people could be around Shah Rukh Khan or around Deepika because, okay, these are all famous people. Where were all these people when Deepika was going all through these issues? Today, if Shah Rukh Khan is openly saying this, I feel alone at night. Imagine what he's going through. There are many people who have all the boxes ticked, but because they have been having people around them, you could have 5,000 Facebook friends, but how many would really show up in the time of need? So that is the key question we need to ask ourselves. That yes, if I need emotional support, rest everything is fine. You could manage the financial part, you could manage so many other things. If I really need emotional support, and if I am really calling someone, or even without a call, how many people would show up? If you want to measure that success in your life, how many people you have who would give you that sort of emotional support unconditionally? Just ask yourself, that is your answer, that yes, have you really balanced this life? Or you were only working and your life wasn't really balanced?
You're right. And the other thing is, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Are you somewhere in between? Because when it comes to, as you're talking about having all these people around you, for me as an introvert, to me that's like, oh my God, I can't be around so many people all the time. I need my personal downtime. And so the difference is there is that an introvert will re-energize on their time alone in their downtime. An extrovert will re-energize around other people. And so as you were saying that, I was remembering that is also part of work-life balance, right? How do you re-energize? How do you get your energy back up after now you've done, you've expended it in other aspects of your life, whether it's work, whether it's family, friends, whatever it is, you need to be able to re-energize. So what is that practice that you're doing in your life to be able to draw from, to be able to have the mileage to do those things?
Very good point that you've made, and you rightly said. So anyone who's an extrovert, he loves to be going to parties, meeting people. So that's what energizes him. For an introvert, yes, he definitely needs that downtime. And actually, as a matter of fact, even extroverts, they would need downtime too. Because I tell this thing to myself, and this is how I tell her. I said, "Yudvi, now you need to be in the back seat now. I cannot be on the driver's seat, or even for that matter on the passenger seat in the front. So sometimes you need to sit on the back seat." When I say, "Yudvi, you need to sit on the back seat," means always try to analyze different things. This is my time. I'm asking myself all these questions. Is my life balanced? Because when I noted down, there were around 20 aspects of life that I thought all these 20 aspects need to be balanced. So juggling around your 24 hours and balancing all these 20 aspects of life, it's a massive challenge. And let me tell you that, again, I'm drawing this from my engineering college days, nobody else in my lifetime I've seen getting 100 out of 100 in all the 64 exams. There's no way you could get 100 out of 100. So try the best whatever you can do. So if I've noted down for my life balance, for my work-life balance, these are the 20 things which are important to me. So prioritize and start spending some time on all those 20 things, and make sure, okay, this is an area like meditation. You taught me meditation the other day, which I've been thinking about quite now. So I want to spend a little bit more time on that. Here I am today accepting another thing. I want to spend some time on strength training, which I haven't been doing a lot. So I need to, get some time off and make sure I do some strength training. So there are other aspects I'm trying to figure out. There are a few things I'm really good at. So evaluate yourself.
You're absolutely right. What was your experience with meditation?
I think it was great. This was the first time doing any sort of meditation. I heard a lot about meditation. And I think as much as you're the guru in this one, you're the master in this one, I just did it once. But from whoever I learned, meditation is really important in life. We all must meditate. And for me, the meditation, the experience that I had the first time I did meditation with you, I think the experience that I got from meditation, even while I'm playing badminton, because for me, you can correct me if I'm wrong, for me, meditating means focusing on just one stuff and relaxing, let go and forget about all other things. For me, I felt a similar experience when I play badminton, because when I'm playing, I'm just looking for those minutes, whether it's 30 minutes, 40 minutes, sometimes it's more than an hour as well, 60, 70 minutes. For all those minutes, for an hour, 2 hours, or 30 minutes, I'm only looking at the game, what's happening, and I'm only focused on that. My phone is away, everything is away. I don't know even anything that's happening outside my court. No, I'm focused on the point, 16, 17, 18, 19, 10, 12, dues, here you went, match point, game point.
But what is the feeling afterwards of playing a match in badminton and after your meditation? It must be a different feeling, no?
Physical feeling, of course, you're a lot more exhausted. It's a very different feeling. The only similarity was, yes, you want to go to bed and sleep when we did the meditation part. But you're right. Meditation definitely, because then you sit down, you calm down your thoughts, and I think in work-life balance these days, meditation is very, very important. I'm just going to pick one point that you said earlier, and I know you're going to add something for sure. You made a very good point earlier that yes, during the work hours, this is what I've realized, we don't get tired physically. If you are physically active, you're fit, I don't get tired that much physically. You'll get tired mentally. So for that, my mantra is, at least during the day, take out 10 minutes minimum, if 5, that's fine, or if possible, 15. 5 minutes to 15 minutes, I do that. 5 minutes to 15 minutes should be your downtime. No work, no phone. And if you could take a power nap for 5 to 10 minutes, usually if someone is driving me around, I'll take a power nap. 5 minutes power nap, 10 minutes power nap. Try doing that, because that way your mental stress comes down, you're relaxed, you're easy. I get a lot of energy out of that power nap. And I liked your style. Oh, please.
You're right, because I'll do that. I'll finish the critical, time-sensitive stuff, then I'll take a walk around the building. Or I'll just sit on the bench, and just because there's a moment where you just need to just be, and then that's when sometimes I'll come back in to the studio and I'll have some new thought or something, because I just disconnected for a little bit. I put myself outside, breathe fresh air, and the more you do that, the more you realize you need less stimulants like coffee and other things to keep you going. When it comes to, I did want to say about the meditation thing, I wanted to point out one thing. what was great that I noticed, because we did it with a few of us here in studio, and one thing I noticed about you is as soon as you were done, you were so calm, but you were so grateful. You were so grateful to be alive and everything that you have, and it gave you, it's again, perspective, and it was a grounding exercise, and I think that gratefulness is what brings in more blessings, but also like that humility that one has to be able to approach everything in life and to be able to deal with it.
Yeah, this is what I've said many times. I mean, this is one feeling you take out of a person, he can never be happy. Finish, 100%. I could be wrong, but this is my thought process. Take gratefulness out of a person. You have to be grateful all the time. And honestly, yes, and acknowledge that. Give credit, acknowledge that. If you taught me, this is the first time I did meditating, say that. Monaji, I did meditation for the first time with you. Great souls. I always borrow this term from you. This is an amazing term that you gave me. Great souls. So being grateful is very, very important for me in life. And one thing I started realizing is when you're talking about work-life balance, I started, and I think everyone should ask ourselves, what are the boxes, because we were talking earlier as well, what are the boxes in your life? What do you want? I mean, you could, the issue is, we always talk about peace, we always talk about happiness, but ask yourself, is how much money is going to give you happiness? Are these big houses, flashy cars, all these things, are they going to give you happiness? Fame, is it going to give you happiness? I doubt so. I doubt so, yeah.
Yeah, so now what's your message to people who say, I don't know what I want?
Oh, good question. They should ask themselves, very simple. If you don't know what you want, there must be something which makes you happy. Do that.
Yeah. Go with the feeling. Whatever it is, if you're feeling happy, lean more into it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, please, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You're right. That's the thing. And we have this gauge in us, right?
Yeah.
It's beautiful because it's immediate. It's not like food where, like, from what I think I read, and I have to be clear on the stat, that it takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to let your brain know that you're full. So in that 20 minutes, if you eat fast, you could really overeat. But the difference is happiness. It's immediate. As soon as you're doing something, whether you're drawing, whether you're reading, whether you're with a friend, whether you're whatever activity you're partaking in, or whether it's a kind of work that you're doing, if you're happy in that moment, that's your immediate gauge. You don't have to wait 20 minutes to figure it out, or in hindsight to realize it. So yeah, lean in more into that.
Bingo. That's absolutely correct that you just pointed out. Ask yourself, what makes you happy? That is your gauge, that is your indicator, that's your measurement. That's your measurement that yes, you are balancing everything right. Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last question for you is, what is the method to measure work-life balance? I think we just said that though.
That's what we just discussed.
Yeah.
I think, happiness is your indicator. I'll give you a quick example as well. Some people say easier said than done. I don't even know how to figure out what makes you happy, or can I even do that? Yes, you can do that. I was making a decent money while I was working as an engineer. I was good at it, but it wasn't really giving me the happiness. So people say, okay, we prioritize ourselves, more money. I started losing money. I was making money in my job, and here it is, the same Yudhvir Jaswal, he quits a job and he starts losing money. My savings are gone, then my line of credit is full, my credit cards are full. So, but I figured out, yes, I'm happy. I'm happy doing what I'm doing right now. Money and everything is byproduct. They'll all follow you. Do what makes you happy. And happiness is not only doing when you say work-life balance, because that's the topic that we're discussing today. At work, many youngsters, they ask me, where should we go? I said, you know what? This is your time to learn. This is your time to do something which will make you happy. You get a corporate job, okay, $1 million package for a year, fine. But if you don't like job, then don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, if someone tells me just keep on filling a cup with the water and remove it, I'm going to give you a package of $1 million. I'm telling you that if at all, even if you're 0.5% creative mind, if you have a 0.5% creative mind, after just one day you will say no, thanks. I can't do that. I can't do that. Thanks for the $1 million pack. Because eventually you're not going to be happy with that. So do what makes you happy. Another very important point, as I was discussing earlier as well, be with those people, who know that yes, they'll be always with you. You are spending leisure time with them. They energize you. And you're right. After maybe not even 20 minutes, forget about 1 minute. I'm in a company of few people. Just in 1 minute, I'm happy, I'm bubbly, I'm enjoying. This is my reaction. There are others, I don't go at all. I say hi, thank you, and okay, sir, we will meet. That's fine. But this is my most expensive commodity. That's my time. So I have to make sure I spend where I enjoy the most.
Yeah, and in our conversation, I think I one thought that came to me about your experience is that perhaps being an engineer by profession has actually helped you create your work-life balance, because the way you approach the concept of what are my 15, 20 things, then how do I implement that into my long-term vision, my short-term vision, then into my daily routine, my week. The average person does not think like that, right? So I've learned so much from you today, and as I was listening to you, I'm like, where did you get this level of organization then to be able to, because one thing I've noticed about you is we mentioned so many different things you're responsible for, but you also don't seem stressed. You handle stress really well. It's not like, it's one thing to run a company and people and have multiple things to do, but then be stressed out and take it out on the people you work with, and right. Whereas with you seem to have, you're grounded and you're able to deal with the level of stress. At least it doesn't show outwardly, if that's the case. But I think it's your engineering profession that has really helped you be able to prioritize, categorize in your mind, and then be able to put a plan together and then follow through with that plan. Because so many times, I'll put a plan in place and then I'll get off the plan, but you seem to be very vigilant. And would you say it's because of your engineering education and profession?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I think this is many times when youngsters, they talk to me and they say this person is a very successful, this was a college dropout. I said no. This is the only time, make sure you get your degree in something.
Yeah.
Whatever field you feel good, you might think that, but you'll be inculcating so many good qualities when you're in a professional college. Because I had to do all by myself for all those 4 years. I was in a hostel, and then later on we moved out. But I had to do all my things, studying, getting up, making sure my clothes are fine, my fees, my financial aspect, all these things, my food, everything I started managing myself. So, the most important task is that you need to clear all those engineering exams as well, otherwise you're not going to get your degree. So that builds so much confidence in you, that builds your personality, that shapes your thought process and so many other things when you are in all those students by yourself. So that's very important. Second thing about the stress, that when I manage all these things, my mantra is very simple. Because I know I work 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 18 hours. So when I go to bed, or when I'm just shutting off all the things that, okay, I've done for the day, I don't even ask myself this question anymore, but I know this was my style. I always used to. Tomorrow there are 100 things to do, and I'm sure there are so many things on my table every day that these are 50 things I could accomplish, and 1 or 2 or maybe 3 could even spell disaster for me tomorrow. I know that for a fact. But am I stressed? I'll say this on camera, and most of the people they know, not at all, not even one bit. Why? One simple thing. This is the best that I could do today. Be grateful, and more importantly, the concept of sharing, the concept of being grounded, the concept of being grateful, the concept of let go, the concept of just focusing on what you need to do. Do not have any revengeful feelings. These are all the things. Let these 50 files, yes, something could go horrible wrong tomorrow, that's fine. But nobody can take away all these things from me. The most important thing which will keep you happy is, all your happiness is from within. My happiness is not because of these 50 files, no. Tomorrow I could get a business, an advertisement might come in for 25,000, or I might even lose a massive contract. That is fine. These are all fines on the table. This is all outside things. Fame could be taken away. Anything could happen. Anything could go horrible wrong. That is fine. But Yudhvir, as much as I'm a human being too, I might feel that, but I keep on telling myself, that yes, my blessings are the key. As long as I have these blessings, as long as, I would say I can take pride in that. I don't want to brag about this thing, but I can take pride in this thing. I have at least, I would say, 100 people who love me so much and I love them. They're not because Yudhvir Jaswal as a group editor of iMedia. That has got nothing to do with that. As a matter of fact, I love to take that tag off when I meet all these people. This is Yudhvir, and they even call me by nickname. I'm a little shy to talk on there. They call me by nickname. And they say, Yudhvir, okay, this is how we talk. This is how we interact. So all these things are with me. That feeling is from within. So all these files, they don't give me any stress at all. I've done my day today.
So it sounds like those 100 relationships of the reciprocal bond that you have and love and respect is what's energizing you. It's where you're drawing your strength from.
Yes, that is one of the major factors. I'm not saying that is a key factor, but that is one of the major factors. I'll name one person today on air. His name is Vikas Gupta. How many times did I meet him in the last 5 years? Just once. How many times did we call each other? Maybe 3-4 times in the last 5 years. Where does he live? Maybe 15 minutes away from my house. We've met just once in the last 5 years. His name is Vikas Gupta. Maybe he could even be watching this program. And he just lives 15 minutes away. But if he walks into the studio, I call his mom, dad, mama and papa. He knows that. I call his mom, dad, mama and papa, and the kind of bond and the kind of love that we share. It's not, as I've told many times, it's not about how often you meet or how things are. It's about the connection, it's the bond. It's a bond, like he's like a brother to me. If he walks in, you can see the way we will meet, the way we will. I told you, we have met just once. He invited me to his home, and we went there, played cricket the whole day. He lives in Caledon, I live in Brampton, so it's just a 15-minute drive. But the bond is there, the strength is there.
That's fantastic. And that's all the time we have today for this episode of Food for Thought, which we've talked about work-life balance. Thank you for sharing all your great knowledge on it. I have certainly learned a lot from you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Monaji. Thank you for offering me this time. And please try to find out what makes you happy, whatever it is, and try to get your life balanced. I'm sure if you are balancing your life, work-life balance will be taken care of. Thank you.